Good morning to you. This is Kakaaki Social. I'm Obozeghie. Welcome. Now, while the United Nations, African Union, France, Nigeria, and others have condemned the military takeover in Gabon, hundreds of Gabonese have continued to celebrate the military intervention. Now, the military took over early on Wednesday from President Ali Bongo, who was announced winner of Saturday's election in the country. The disputed victory was the start of his third term after 14 years in office. He took over from his father, who was also served for 42 years. So basically, the family has been in power for 56 years. And a video of the deposed president calling for help while on house arrest has been making the rounds on social media.
I'm Ali Bongo Ondimba, President of Gabon. And I'm to send a message to all the friends that we have all over the world, to tell them to make noise, For the people here have arrested me and my family. My son is somewhere, my wife is in another place, and I'm at the residence. Right now, I'm in the residence and nothing is happening. I don't know what's going on. So I'm calling you to make noise, really. I'm thanking you. Thank you.
Okay, Momo says, so he brutally shut down the internet during election, and after announcing of result, now that he's in problems, he has opened internet to send SOS for international support. Oh, by the way, former Gabon president. Awan Rija says, sincerely speaking, like President George Weah said, African politicians are the most guilty of carrying out coup against their people via electoral frauds, yet they will turn around to condemn military coup that are brought about because of their impunity. For this user, it says military rule is not an option for democracy. No matter the excuse for staging a coup, it remains a crime, and the plotters and those who call for it should face criminal charges. Final reaction coming from Fortune. It says, as long as rigging of election persists in Africa, expect more coup. Away from that, our next story would be that of the 20 local government chairmen in Ogun State who were captured in a viral video begging their state governor, Abiodun, for forgiveness. So the thing is, one of them, the chairman of Ijebu East local government, Wale Adedayo, had accused the governor of withholding local government allocation. Adedayo lamented that the local government chairman had been unable to execute projects in the last 2 years and asked former governor Olusegun Osuba to urgently wade in and convince Abiodun, that's the sitting governor, to allow the statutory federal allocation to local government in Ogun State, and then so that it could reach every one of them as envisaged by the 1999 Constitution. There were also calls for the EFCC and the ICPC to investigate the governor, but in a twist, they are now sorry for the accusations.
On behalf of all of us, I'm tendering this apology, and in particular, on behalf of Wale and Kenya, Your Excellency, I will never everyone knows that this job, I am doing it with every iota of sincerity of pursuit. I continue to ensure that I'm guided by all the promises that I made in the course of my journey to God for this.
Okay, the governor says he has forgiven them, but what does this even mean? Kelvin says this is the Southwest. No, prostrating to elders and people of authority is not foreign. It is rooted in the culture of the Yorubas. Why is there an outrage towards this particular one? I am genuinely curious. So there were questions on why political executive or subordinate technically would be prostrating in a setting like that. So he was asking. Omo Alahaji says this is abuse of culture. Stuff like this isn't known with democracy except in tradition settings. Their prostration is an appeasement just because they think they wronged him and they feared the aftermath if they didn't appease him. This is rubbish and abuse of power. For this user, he said the question is, did he divert fund or not? Well, that wasn't answered. It was just, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say what I said again. You know, let's just go ahead with governance at this point. So away from that, the Abuja division of the Court of Appeal has upheld the 50 million naira damages awarded against Senator Abbo for assaulting a lady, Osimi Bibra, in a sex store shop in Abuja. Now, Senator Abbo, who made it back to the 10th Senate representing his people, North District, was seen assaulting the lady attendant at a sex store shop in 2019. In the then viral video, he slapped the lady for not less than 3 times and then he ordered the security to walk her out of the shop. The public intervened, he also apologized, and then it got to the court and he was asked to pay her 50 million naira. He didn't like the judgment, so he proceeded to appeal it. But the appeal court is saying that it found no ground for the judgment to be overturned and has decided that he pays the 50 million naira that was ruled by the Federal High Court in Maitama here in Abuja, and another 500,000 naira to the lady as compensation. Now, will he at this point, you know, go ahead with the payment, or will he bring in the Supreme Court? But let's see, first of all, some reactions to this before we take you back to 2019 when this happened. Kim says, the abuse of women up north is really scary. Peter Obistan says he will just remove it from the prayer mailed to him. Now, if you're not aware of the prayer that was mailed by the Senate President to his colleagues in the Red Chamber, you definitely missed that comment. Now, Voice of Truth says this case should have been closed since now Nigerian judicial system always at snail speed when it has to do with the high and mighty, but at the speed of light to dispense judgment to a petty thief of foodstuff. Now, here is a video way back from 2019 for those who are not familiar with the story, just so you could get along.
Drop your phone when I'm talking. I said drop your phone.
She's talking to her father. I'm talking to her.
I said drop your phone now, I'm talking. You call him, but nobody's arresting you. Drop the phone now. Okay, go back here.
You're very stupid. Please take it easy now.
You are very stupid. What's your problem? You are very stupid. I think you're very stupid. I've been with you. Are you mad? I know where you go. I think you're very stupid. Take her. Go with her. Come. I said go. I said go. I think you're very stupid. Go with her.
Wait.
I said go. I said go with her. I said go.
Okay, so that was summarily the case in 2019, but he's saying the 50 million naira is too much, or is not abuse of rights, as it was said in the High Court in Maitama here in Abuja. But to our final story for the day, a video of a police officer crying intensely when he was being declared for alleged misbehavior in Adamawa State has surfaced online. Now, the State Commissioner of Police, Afolabi Babatola, mentioned in a statement that the 2 affected policemen were dismissed for misbehavior, character assassination, and many other things. He stressed that the 2 fired officers were tried on 3-count charges: discreditable conduct to the defamation of character, culpable homicide, and unlawful exercise of authority. He also added that the command found them guilty as charged and recommended the punishment of dismissal for both defaulters. Now, they are to be charged to court alongside other co-suspects. I don't know if you see this video of him crying, and, you know, apparently he's sorry and not wanting to let go, but the police insist he has to go and he has been declared. Let's see how this went down yesterday. Demi of Lagos says nobody dismissed the pain the guy, but the free money and shame that comes with him being dismissed. Imagine meeting the guys he was harassed. Emim Oga says people like this are mostly likely innocent. The police have a way of protecting bad eggs. And final reaction from Frame says, this is so sad. Make them begin monitor and make it no turn menace for the society. Yeah, that's everything on Kakaaki Social this morning. I'll see you again tomorrow when it will be happy hour. Good morning, Adora and Perry.
Good morning, Rena.
Good morning, Rena. Maybe we should start first from that domestic abuse of that young lady.
By the lawmaker.
Yes, by the lawmaker. You know, Perry and I were just saying that should have been, they should have given justice to the woman and actually seen that he says his term out, because that was very aggressive, very violent. What if he had blinded an eye or caused severe brain damage or something in the process of that? And he's still saying that the money is too much.
And he says it's not an abuse of her rights. But don't you think the money would, you know, to an extent compensate her if he agrees to pay and not take it to the Supreme Court, or if the Supreme Court eventually rules against, you know, be on his side to say, oh no, we can actually let this go without the payment. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, how can the judiciary look at that and decide to let it go? I mean, it also casts aspersion on the judiciary. And then talking about the money being enough, it will embolden other abusers, you know,
who have the money.
Of course, who have the money and
True.
the elites
True.
to just get away with aggression and violence. At the end of the day, they can always pay their way. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's true. So for me, for example, it's the culture versus abuse of public office as shown in the video in Ogun State. I mean, and then I saw some of the reactions by social media commentators and be like, so the first guy said it's a Yoruba culture, and then the other one said, no, that's not culture, that's abuse of office, particularly with what's happening in Gabon, and you have a lot of LG chairmen, you know, prostrating and all of that. So I mean, it's good that the social media actually allows people to air their views.
Definitely, and that's why we have Kakaaki Social too, to always amplify voices.
My own is that, were they really saying sorry for the benefit of their people, or?
Another
missed
question.
I said, were they saying sorry for the benefit of their people, or you know, they're saying sorry because the money hasn't come to the boys for 2 years?
At this point, what do you usually say? If you ask me,
Now who I go ask?
let me take it back, I guess.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Rana.
Thank you.